Here at Northville High School, we have a strict tardy policy, and if you miss the first 10 minutes of class, it counts as an absence.
So we asked kids, do you care if you're tardy?
No.
But short answer, no. Long answer, also no. Seniors kind of living the dream, don't really care.
Yeah, I care if I'm tardy because I don't want the teacher to think that I'm just lazy and don't care.
No.
Depends on the class. Some teachers don't really do much about it.
Prefer not to be, but
Sometimes.
Many students do not care if they are tardy to class because they don't think that they miss any important classwork.
So we asked kids if they think that they miss any important classwork when they're tardy to class.
Not really, because if you're tardy, you're 2 minutes late, they're just staying high.
Sometimes.
Not really because teachers don't really start anything until 10 minutes in, so everyone just kind of sits in the beginning of class and does nothing. So
now we're just saying hi and welcoming each other.
Because when they come in tardy, I've already given direction on what to do for lab or certain things that we're going to do for the day, and then I have to repeat myself or reference the board, and I just think it causes a
lot of times, the introductory to the class happens in the first few minutes of class, what's happening for that day, whether it's learning targets or objectives. So I do think that that initial time that students might be tardy is important.
Other people argue that you should be on time because it shows respect for the teacher.
We asked kids, do you think it's disrespectful when you're tardy?
I think some teachers try to make it into a personal issue, but I just could use some more sleep.
No, I don't think it's rude or disrespectful to be tardy for a class. I think it's rude if you come into class late and you're disruptive, but if you come in late and you are quiet and you sit down in your seat, then you are not being disrespectful or rude.
6 points, 6 points, 6 points. Wait, what? And it's so.
If the teacher's in the middle of a lesson, then definitely I think it's rude to walk in late.
For myself, it's every situation is individual. So I can't draw a blanket statement and say every time you're tardy, you're purposely being rude or you're being rude. It's if you're doing it because you just didn't feel like showing up, you wanted to talk to your friend as opposed to coming to class, then yeah, that's disrespectful. But things happen, right? You get in a car accident, and that's why you're tardy. That's not disrespectful. That's just life happening. So it all depends on each situation.
It depends on the situation. If a student is just hanging out in the hall talking to friends, I think it's very rude. But if their mom is just getting to school, at a certain hour, I don't think it's disrespectful in that way.
I think the biggest thing is sometimes it causes a classroom disruption and it disrupts the rest of the students. So that's what I think is a bad thing. So.
Disrespectful. I think respect is a great word, and I oftentimes use that when I was a teacher, when I would have a conversation with a student about class. I was passionate about teaching and still am passionate about teaching, and that was my kind of game time, and a lot of students are athletes, and I would often say, would you walk into your varsity baseball practice late, or would you walk into your varsity hockey practice late? And most say, no way, my coach would kill me. Well, I think it's what's different. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes, let's be honest, but most of us are going to be professionals. And how do you become a professional? Well, you get from your education, high school education, then your undergrad education, then possibly your postgrad education. So learning to be on time, learning to be accountable, you can't do that too soon, in my opinion. And I think there is a respect factor that factors into that. Do students, when they respect a teacher, do they not want to miss class? Do they want to be in front of that teacher and around them and a part of what they're doing? They do. So when that respect factor's there, I think students are more so on time. But when they're not, there can be a level of disrespect. Because again, this is what we do. This is what we're passionate about.
We came to the conclusion that in the teacher's eyes, you do miss important info when tardy, even if the student doesn't agree, and being on time is always respectful to the teacher.